Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another PhotoJoseph's live event, live show, live fun and games. Hey, if you are watching this not live, there will be chapter markers down below to jump to all the sections, including getting past this morning preamble. So for everybody who is here live, well, howdy, good morning, welcome to the show. Good to see you here. Let's first, of course, get a shout out in the chat room, make sure that everybody can see me and hear me A-OK. Did some more testing this morning. Everything's looking and feeling pretty good. I've been playing with the audio levels a little bit more. I've got a Lufts meter that I have installed. I've kind of a workaround to make it work the way I need to, but I think we're there. I think, you know, I'm sure that something will change because something always changes, but let's just hear from you in the chat room. Tell me where you're watching from today. It is always lovely to see all the people coming in, including those who were here before the show even started, like Jason Papav. Good morning to you. Let's get the right there. It is. Yep, it's up. There it is. Jason Papav, good morning to you. That was some wake-up call when the music started. Well, the music was starting a long time ago. Should have been there right when you hit it in. But I'm glad it woke you up because it's time to get up. Come on, man. Unless you're in Hawaii, you should be awake. John McLaughlin, good afternoon, good morning to you. Good evening, excellent. Look at this. Good morning, everybody. All these people here. Hey, Mr. Curtis Judd, it's good to see you, buddy. You can criticize my audio today. You missed the whole audio adventure a couple weeks ago where was it a week ago? Whatever it was. 2 weeks ago. Man, I think we're getting there. And you'll appreciate this. So here, I'm going to show this to you now. I actually am running now Julian on here. It's a bit of a workaround to make this work the way I need it to, and it is delayed. This is not real time, unfortunately. It's like 5 seconds delayed. I have to keep resetting it to bring it up. But I am trying to get my levels proper. I am going to buy a hardware one. I forget the name of it now, but they're like totally out of stock everywhere. But I'm going to get one so I can keep it and really monitor because I'm bringing up my audio game to the next level. But Curtis, good to see you as always. 7 p.m. on the other side of the pond. That means it's time to have a pint in your hand. What are you complaining about? My goodness. My goodness. And Curtis says, I'm looking and sounding good. Well, that is awesome. Uganda in the house. Awesome. Sanoga, Moses, good to see you. Where'd my chat go? Oh, that's right. I have to bring it back up here. I did that and that broke it. There it is. Uganda in the house. Awesome. Love that. Very good. Got me good. Everybody's good. Everybody says all good. Fantastic. Big love from India. Love India. You know, you probably know I did a workshop in 2019. Right. Is that right? Yes. Right. 2019. Did a workshop. Was going to do it again in 2020. We all know how that went. 22, 21. Now it's 22. I don't feel that I can book it and start taking people's money. I feel like we need to wait. But 23, man, 23 is the year. Maybe we can do it later this year. Maybe there will be, but I'm not feeling it. I just feel like we need to get a little bit farther past this ridiculousness. Anyway, looking forward to it. Greetings from people all over Tulsa, Oklahoma, Buffalo, Ireland, Germany, another in Germany, Julian loudness meter. It's pretty good, right? It's pretty, I just gotta, I got some other things to do. Anyway, all righty. Anyone know where to get captive nuts for the rails on the cage? Quetzal, that would be a question for Aaron. I don't know if he's going to be here today because Aaron just got back yesterday from being overseas for 3 weeks, so he might not be in this morning show, but he might be. He might be. You never know. Okay, let's get this thing on the road, shall we? Once again, good morning, everybody, and today we are talking about the YoloBox Pro and the upgrades that it has had since I did my last videos on this. Now, I did a massive YoloBox Pro tour. Yeah, it's probably 6 months ago or so. I'll be sure that video is linked down below. And that was a deep dive into every single last little feature that this product had. The problem with doing a deep dive on this product is they keep adding new features. And so it's like, oh, look, my video's obsolete. So this video is a way to get everybody up to date on what has been added since the last major video I did. I also, since that complete tour, did a video comparing the YoloBox lineup to the ATEM lineup, because this is a question I get all the time. Well, which one should I buy? And the answer is, it depends. Which one is better? It depends. So you really need to compare apples to apples, and you can't because one's an apple and the other's an orange. That was a terrible analogy. Anyway, that video compares the two so that you can understand which one is better for your situation. So this video is just about the new features that have been added to the YoloBox Pro over the last 6 months or so, I think it is. So let's just dive right into it. Let me jump over here to the right page, and let's get started. So we are going to start. We're going to be going through the 1.31 updates, the scroll back up, the 1.51 update, the 1.61 update, and the 1.7 update. So there were quite a few updates that have been released. Each one of these adding new features. Is actually one that has been kind of taken away. We'll talk about that, but it has been quite a good season for upgrades. Some really nice features, and I think it's really fair to point out that if you bought one of these boxes, you bought it for what it has, not what it might have in the future. And considering that there's all these features that have been added to it since it was released, since you may have bought it, that's pretty cool. There's no charge for these upgrades. These are all free updates. They show up automatically. You boot up your YoloBox, it'll say, hey, there's an update available, update now or delay, obviously if you're about to start a show. And you just get new stuff added all the time. So super kudos to YoloLive for doing that. They're really adding some nice features in here. All right, let's go in. So we're going to start with 1.31. Audio mixing now available. So this is a huge feature, and it is going to continue to get better. So let's take a look at how this works on here. We'll bring up the YoloBox, my fancy little interface that I created, and we are going to simply go into plus and go into monitor mode. And right now I don't have much going on for audio because there's just one input, but this is one of those things I don't really want to like full on demo it where you're hearing everything, because there's too much risk for damaging things, like your ears I blast things you can't hear. We're not going to do a live demo of it, but let's just take a look at the features that are in here. So you've got, first of all, an AFV, audio follows video function in here that you can turn on. You can adjust the program level, so that's your full audio levels everywhere. But then each mic has its own individual levels. Each mic has a delay, or each mic input has a delay, so you can delay the microphone in or the line in levels. And this is important because, as you may be well aware, your audio that's coming in on the direct line inputs or the mic input is going to be real time, whereas any video that's coming in over an HDMI port is likely to be delayed. And so you need to bring those in sync. And so if you are bringing audio in that way, then that is how you would do that. So that little delay feature in there will allow you to bring that into sync. Then there's individual audio controls for the HDMI inputs, for the USB audio, and video coming off the SD cards, which is quite good. So if you are playing video off of an SD card and you want to just have that kind of lower background level music thing that's playing off that video while you're talking over it, you can adjust that all individually in here. So certainly very handy to have that. And then there's your live stream one. The live stream one, that's something one of these days I really have got to do this. The live stream thing is a function where you can stream from one YoloBox to another. We've got to do it. I keep saying we got to do this and we just never get around to it. We got to play with this one day. Anyway, so there's your new functions. Now, this is not a massive set of audio adjustments. There's no EQs and compressors and things like that. YoloLive has said they are continuing to work on this. They are going to add more. I don't know that they've said what they're going to add, and it's always a bad idea to say exactly what you're going to add because things change. But just know that they are still working on the audio mixer. This is still an area where they want to continue to refine it and improve and add features to it. So there we go. So that's all there really is to show you in there. And that was it for that 1.31 update. It was a big deal for audio, but that was all that it touched. So moving on now to the next one. The next update is going to be YoloBox Pro 1.5.1. I don't know what happened to 1.50, but whatever. So reuse project, animated GIF overlay, Superchat overlay, and more. So let's just go through these. Reuse project. So what does that mean? Well, what that means is that you can actually reuse a live project. That seems obvious, but it's really important. And there's actually kind of two levels of this. So first of all, it used to be that you'd create a live project, a live show, set up everything, your lower thirds and all this stuff, and then you do the show. And then when it was done, that was it. You couldn't replicate that, you couldn't duplicate it, and all of your settings were gone. You'd have to start over again for the new show. So there's kind of two levels to this. Now, all your lower thirds and things that you build are always there. They stay, but also you can replicate an existing live show. So let's take a look at how that works. So essentially what I would do is let's back out of this. You know what, you guys tell me, do you want to see this mode where I'm just kind of touching the screen but you can't see what I'm touching? Or would you rather have a overhead view like this where things are a little bit funny, but you can actually see where I'm touching? And maybe I should just go back and forth between these. Maybe that would be the better way to do it. I can do that, tap on create a live stream. Let's go ahead and give this a title, just call it test. And I give this a random date, okay, random time, okay, click create. Scheduled time cannot be earlier than the current time. I knew that. Click create. 12 a.m. Good grief. Let's go to the PM, shall we? PM, there we go. Now I can create a show. And so now if whether I had edited this show or not, whether I had gone in here and set up things or not, doesn't matter. Now what I can do, let's go back, hello, there we go. Tap on the little 3 dots up here and I can duplicate that. So that was the big add there, the ability to duplicate that previous live show, even if it's a completed show. Duplicate it so you can reuse it. Very, very nice indeed. So again, give me a shout out whether you want to see the top-down camera where I'm touching or if I should go back and forth or whatever it is. Overhead, side. I thought about setting up a side-by-side, Jade, but then everything gets too small. And I know a lot of people are watching on their phone or something, so I didn't want to do that. Overhead is fine. Overhead. People say overhead. All right, well, you guys don't want to see the cool view that I built with the whole outline and everything. That's okay. I understand. We'll just stick with the overhead view. Okay, so there's that. And then, of course, from here, I can just hit delete to delete that little test show as well. So again, simple little feature, but super, super important. Very, very glad to see that in there. Next feature we're going to look at, animated GIF overlay. You know, it's one of those like silly little things, but it's kind of cool. So, hey, let's do it. Let's add one in here. Let's go for it. I'm just going to go into the monitoring mode here, and we'll go add video source, and we're going to say, SD card 2. Oh, no, actually, that's not where I want to go. I lied. We don't go there. We don't do it there. We do it as an overlay. Overlay, image overlays, there it is, and there I've got the images that are on my card. I've got the dancing banana because everybody needs a dancing banana in their show. And then from here, you can kind of pinch it down and just resize. Oops, no, here, scale it. There we go. Scale that, move him down. We'll just put a little dancing banana guy in the corner there. So there you go. So now you can see, we'll go and bring that up a little bit bigger so you can see what that looks like, a little dancing banana. Fantastic. Obviously, extremely, extremely useful to have. Now, it's kind of cute. You got a little animated GIF. Now you've got it in there. You can put that into your show. And then like before, to call that up, it's just sitting here. So if I want to add that to the show, I just tap on there, and there it is. There's my animated GIF. I can bring that in. Fun. All right, the next feature is show loyal fans with Superchat Overlay. So this is very, very nice. And I don't really have I wanted to kind of bring this live show into this so I could bring the chat, but it wasn't really working that way. So I can't show you a live chat without setting up a whole separate stream, which I didn't really want to do that either. But I can show you what the live chats look like with these super chats. So let's go into that. Let's go here and let's see here. We'll go into this plus, and I'm totally getting this wrong, going to the wrong place. I promise I did rehearse this. Cannot get to it because this is not an actual live event. So let's go ahead and create a live stream. I guess I should not have deleted that one earlier. Give that a date in the future so I don't get told that the timing is not in the future. Create, open. Now I can get to my chat. So this is where my live chat would show up. If I tap on this little guy, it'll show me what these would look like. So here we'll go and pull these up a little bit cleaner so you can see what those different templates look like, including the super chat info. So if somebody has sent you a super chat, you will see that in there on the screen with the little amount that they gave, and you can choose which one of these layouts that you want to use. So really, really nice to be able to do that. And of course, as you go in here, you have total customizability of what that layout looks like, the colors, the fonts, the background color, the amount of transparency, and so on. You can scale that. Tons of settings in here. You can go ahead and use that, and then once that is applied, now when you start bringing in comments, basically the comments would show up on here. You would just see them streaming up on here. You tap on the one you want, and it loads to the screen with that comment in the style that you just did, including, of course, the super chat info if that was there. So that's one of those things. It's interesting because. And I wonder how this is working today. We are, oh, Aaron's in the house. Good to see you, buddy. We are currently streaming over to Restream.io, which means it's streaming out to a whole bunch of places at once. I started it before. It looked like it was working. I have no idea if it actually is. But they have their own chat system in there that kind of integrates chats, brings chats in from multiple places. Really, really cool. But I don't even know if they've added it yet. For the longest time, they didn't have it. They might have added it now, but for the longest time, they had no indicator of super chat. And considering that, if you give me a super chat, that's like, you want to be highlighted. That's kind of the point. that's really important to be able to see. So I'm really glad to see that they've added that in there so that you can actually see it. In fact, Mimo Live, which is the software platform that I use to integrate into the show, it does some of the lower third graphics and so on in here. They have their own chat system integrated. They don't show the super chats either. It's like, guys, come on, man. You gotta, people are giving me love. I gotta give the love back. That's how it works. So anyway, having super chat in there, super, super important. Very glad to hear that. Let's just take a quick look at the comments before I jump into the next section, see if there's anything that we want to bring up. And let's bring that up here. There we go. Sigmund says, we've taken big from the U in our live streaming here at the circuit. Awesome. That sounds great. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that, but that sounds awesome. People in California, awesome. Aaron is here. Oh, you have to go to a workshop in a few minutes. Oh, bummer. Well, it's good to have you here. Aaron says, you should be able to find those nuts I was talking about for Quetzal. I think he would ask about where to get those parts. So, by the way, what he's talking about is this cage. Here we go. This cage right here is made by Aaron Parecki, who's in the chat right now. There's a link to these down below in the description where you can get them, and he makes these in various sizes, both for the YOLO boxes and for the ATEM lineup. So basically, it's a cage with mounting points, and as you can see here, I've got it mounted onto a tripod head. You can mount it directly onto the camera if it's a smaller one. You have all kinds of mounting points on here to mount other gear. It's just a really nice, convenient way to protect and add things to your YOLO box. Pretty slick. So if you're interested in that, check that out in the description below. And let's see here. So we're talking about overhead side by side. We can skip all of that. And checking in on the new updates. Awesome. Crystal says, I keep forgetting you can watch in 4K. That's right. That's right. This stream is in 4K, and hopefully it's a good quality. Incidentally, if you were part of the whole let's get the right video feed, working video feed we did last week, we're not doing H.265 right now. We still haven't resolved those issues. So we're back to H.264, but we've also lowered the bit rate. I'm now doing, I think I set it to 17 megabit, which is well within range of my upload bandwidth. So hopefully it's a good balance, a good compromise. It could be better quality if I amped up the bit rate, but it should not be dropping any frames or skipping out at us entirely. So fingers crossed on that. Okay. Let's move on. All right, so back over here. So the super chat we did. What else is new? Yes, deleting. So another complaint about live software streams is you had to delete them one by one. So basically, let's go back to this view. Maybe go out of here. It used to be that you had to delete these one by one, meaning cancel that. I would have to go in here, tap that, and no, wrong button, tap the little three dots, there we go, and hit delete. And I have to do that one at a time, which could add up, to be quite tedious because there's a bunch of them. Now, if you tap and hold on this, it brings up a little selector. So now I can select, there you go, select that one. If I had more, obviously I'd select those, and then I can delete. Or there's even a select all button, and then delete to delete those. So very nice, convenient little thing there. It's it's those little things. It's the little things, but man, they do matter. They make a difference. This one we don't need to show. We'll just talk about a pain point about the scoreboard was the team logo could not be deleted. So now you can. Simple little thing, but you can now delete the team logo that might be added in there. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Bitrate setting can be customized a little bit more. So you got a new minimum of 1,000 megabit or 1,000 kilobits, so 1 megabit. So that's pretty awesome. So again, if you're working with a lower bandwidth, you can bring that down a bit. And that's it for there. All right, now let's move on to the 1.6 updates. This got some big ones. Web URL overlay. This is another big, awesome one that I can't properly show because, again, I just can't. But what this does, so you see the way that I do my chats here, right? So if I bring that up, that's a chat overlay. The way this is being handled is through a web platform that is plugged into the YouTube API that pulls those comments and then redisplays them just using web CSS, blah, blah, blah. I don't understand this stuff, but just using CSS effectively is redisplaying the comments in a new format, which you can customize or the creator of the tool can customize and so on. The tool that I'm using is, once again, Aaron Parecki's tool. So he's built this thing. It's awesome. It's free. You can download it. Start sending him money, please, because he's got 1 million people using this thing, and he needs donations for this because it's awesome. Anyway, that is through his system. He has not yet customized it to work with the YoloBox, so I can't use his in here. There are some other similar systems that do this, but let me just show you how this works. So let's go into this live show. We would go into the overlays, and wrong stream, here we go, into the overlays, and you have this thing here called web URL overlays. So effectively all you're doing is dropping in a URL on here, and it does tell you to make it quicker to enter, try a URL shortener so it automatically expands out. But effectively what that's going to do is simply load up a web page that's in real time refreshing in the background that will pull in the comments that you would then be controlling somewhere else. So you're on a computer, you're controlling them. So just like the way I do the comments here, well, let's bring this one up. I am controlling, I got a trackpad here, I'm controlling another computer, I'm looking at a screen that is off camera, you can't see it, but I'm looking at all my comments here, and then I can click on one like this beautiful comment from Yugi that says, YoloLive has become my favorite tech company. Awesome. I kind of feel like Yugi's an employee. Might be gilding the lily a little bit there, but I agree, it's an awesome tech company. So anyway, so that's how that works. You would just see that overlay on here, and you can access it and pull them up onto your feed directly within the YoloBox, which frankly is pretty cool. So instead of having to monitor your comments in a little window here, you can do that separately, digging that. So kudos to them for adding that in. Again, it just doesn't work with errands yet, so I don't have it hooked up, but I know he's gonna work on that. Like I said, he's been out of town, but he is going to work on that. He told me so, and now he has to because I said it live on the air here. So there's that. Next one, this is a really cool feature, auto switching, allowing you to automatically switch camera angles. So this is a big thing that people ask about all the time. You're doing a show, it could be just like me on air here, and I'm like, oh, I want to automatically switch between camera A and camera B. That'd be kind of convenient, right? It would be kind of cool. My system doesn't do that, but the YoloBox does. So actually, I could kind of automate with macros, but it's not really what we want. So anyway, they do it. So let's take a look at how this whole thing works. Let's see here. Let's go back to the overhead view here. Let's get out of this, and I'm actually going to go ahead back to my regular non-streaming event. Let's go into the monitor mode here. And all right now I only have one video source, so we need to add in another one. So I have it plugged in. Let's turn on this other camera here. And we should see that second source automatically add itself in. There it is. So there's just another camera sitting there. Excellent. And I'll add a third source. Let's do this one as a video. So I'll bring in an SD card video. I've got a little drone footage in here. So we're going to add that in. And now we've got three different inputs. So normally, of course, to switch, you simply tap on the input that you want and it loads that in. Cool. That's all there is to that. But now there's auto switching. So here's how this works. First of all, you choose your video sources. Which ones do you want to auto switch? Do I want it to auto switch between all of them? Just input 1 and 2, which in itself is really important. So you don't have to auto switch between all of your inputs. You can just have it auto switch between the ones that you want it to. Cool. Okay. Then we'll go ahead and put it on all three. And then you can set a duration for each one. When it goes to HDMI 1, I want that to only hold, I'm going to make these really short just for the sake of the demo. I'll make that just 2 seconds. SD card video, we're going to only let that run for a single second, and HDMI 2, we'll let that one run for longer at 3 seconds. In fact, I'm going to set that one to 2 and set this one to 3, just because this is a better shot. All right, so I've set different times in there. I can set this to loop or not. If I don't set it to loop, then it's going to cycle a couple times and be done. If I set it to loop, it's just going to keep going. Switching order. Do I want this to be a sequential order or a random order? Now, when it says random, it's not a complete, I should probably test it more. It didn't feel like it was completely and totally random. I think there's a pattern to it, but it'll appear random. That's kind of the point there. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and set it to random. And then you can do, this is a really neat one, the main video source. So the main video source is which one you want it to focus on. And what that means is every time it goes, let's say, so I set HDMI 1, I set HDMI 1 as the main. So set to HDMI 1. Now it's going to switch to 2. Then before it goes to 3, it's going to come back to 1. And then it'll go to 3. And then it'll come back to 1. Then it'll go to 4. And then it'll come back to 1. Then it'll go to 2. And then it'll come back to 1. Then it'll go to 7. That's how that works. So you've got this primary, so every other shot is your main shot, and every other one is any other shot in there, potentially random. So kind of neat. So let's go ahead and I'm not going to do it for this one. I'm just going to do full random and just let it go. So we'll set none, but that's what that is for. And that's it. So we've got that going. Now we just hit start, and you can see it switching up there. So we'll hold 3 seconds on there, 2 seconds on this shot, 1 second on that one, 2 seconds on this shot, and then it goes back to that one. There's 1. For 3 seconds. So that's the idea. It just rotates. It just goes through the system. And now I don't have to do any work. I can just sit back and do my show. And so I can keep on talking and doing my thing. And while I'm doing my thing, that is going, we can go full screen there. That is going, doing its thing like so. And I mean, that's pretty darn cool, right? I love that. Hands off. Look, Ma, no hands. Digging that. To get out of that, let's go, let's get back out of this view. We just hit the disable button and it stops it, and there we go. So, loving that feature. I know that's a feature a lot of people have been asking for, a lot of people have been wanting, and there it is. In fact, if memory serves, someone asked for that on this show, and Frank was here from YOLO Live, and he went, yeah, we can do that, and put it in. See the power of this show. Pretty slick. All right, onward. Additional multi-view templates. Excellent. So let's take a look at those. What this means is if I go into my video source here, you have the multi-views down at the bottom. There's some new ones. So we got, I think before we had picture-in-picture, split view, and side-by-side. There's a new news layout and a triple view. So if I go to news layout, first thing you do is you select one source. So we'll go for that one and then second source. So HDMI 2 to those. And then from here, I don't think, yeah, you can't move these around, but you can change, say, background color in here. I could load a background image. Let's take this cool picture of this awesome Lumix S1H as a background photo. And I can then reduce the opacity of the color against the background. So see, there's that full purple color. Let's go for a different purple there. But I can fade that in. So if I just wanted to do kind of like a simple faded to the background there, gray would be good, and then I could drop the opacity and make that look kind of cool like so. So now you've got kind of an interview set. So obviously this makes less sense when both inputs are the same camera, but if you were doing a call-in show using that live stream input coming from another YoloBox, this would be perfect for that. I'm gonna do like a whole interview setup kind of thing. And then same thing with a 3-up. So let's go ahead and finish this. You can see it just adds it as a new source. So I tap on that layout and there it is. But let's go add a third source. We're gonna do a triple layout here. And we're just gonna go and choose all three of these layouts in here, which obviously doesn't make a whole lot of sense for this one, but there you go. And we'll just leave, a little border thickness in there. Let's get rid of that. No border at all. Do a little bit of a border. Center, I'm honestly not sure what that's doing. It seems to be toggling which one's centered. I don't really know what that does, but that's okay. That's what it's here for, is to play with. And there you go. There you got your three layouts in there. Perfect. Super. Nice and easy. So there's your additional layouts that have been added in. And then it says, and more. I've forgotten what that is. So web URL overlay, auto switching. Yes, USB-C webcam output now supports outputting both video and audio. Okay, so important feature here. I knew I had this cable sitting on my desk for a reason. They added webcam functionality a while ago, but when it first came out, it was only the video was coming over. So you did not get audio from the camera here through, which is not that uncommon actually. If you have a camera, I think the Canons, the Nikons, the Lumix does this too, any of these cameras that have a webcam mode, it's just the video. The audio doesn't come through, and I don't understand why, but apparently there's a pretty good reason because nobody seems to be able to do it. Except these guys, they figured it out. So you can have up to 3 cameras over HDMI hooked in, do your switching on here, but then look at it on the program out over USB, which can then plug into Skype or Zoom, whatever you like. So just because I haven't shown that function at all, we're gonna try it. I'm gonna go ahead and plug in make sure my power's plugged in, plug in that USB for the output, and then plug the other end into my computer here. And I'll just fire up Zoom, and we'll take a look at how this works in here. So give me a moment here for Zoom to fire up and hopefully not start a meeting. There we go. Let's hide all this stuff. And I'm missing a button in my toolbar to hide all the junk on my desktop. Where'd it go? Great. I'm sorry. I don't really need to see all this stuff on my desktop, but my little tool to do that is gone, and I don't remember what it's called. You should hate that when you have no idea what a tool is called because you use it all the time, and now it's missing, and you're like, what is going on here? Sorry about this, folks. Give me just a second here to figure out where, nope, no, that's not it either. Is it? Nope, that's not it. Also, I have way too many tools in the menu bar. Oh well, whatever. You can see my cluttered desktop. Doesn't really matter, I suppose. Okay, so let's go into the video settings on here. Now I believe I turned it off, so we're not going to see. Right, so we have right now the only options are the FaceTime camera, and then I've got an NDI feed running in the house. So those are the only options there right now. So now I'm gonna go back over to this, and we're gonna go into the settings, and there's an option on here, USB-C out. So I turn that on. It tells you, please add up to 3 HDMI sources for the best experience. USB and SD card videos are not recommended. Doesn't mean you can't try it, but it's telling you just don't try it. So tap done. And just like that, over on the computer, there is now a YoloBox option in here, and there it is. So there is my YoloBox option. And I do not hear, let's hear it. Mic, set the mic to the YoloBox, and there we go. We can see the audio coming through. That is just the audio that is feeding from this camera, I think, through. I don't know where the audio is coming from, but you got your audio coming through now. So super awesome on that. Thank you, YoloBox, for adding that in. That does make for a really cool webcam setup. Now, it still doesn't do the graphic overlays, the titles and things like that, but that is something I know they're also working on so that they can add essentially the full functionality of the YoloBox going out over USB, but it's coming in stages, and this is the stage that we're at right now. So love that. All right, now I've got to quit out of Zoom here before somebody calls me, and let me turn off that USB-C output, although I don't know that you have to turn that off. I don't know if there's any disadvantage to leaving it on all the time, but I'm just going to turn it off. Okay, moving on. Let's find the right thing here. All right, additional multi-view templates we already talked about. Okay, this is the one that's been removed. Schedule a live stream within 1 year. And there were some issues in here. Facebook doesn't allow you to schedule for more than 7 days in advance, apparently. I never use Facebook Live anymore, but that's what they told me. And you can schedule a YouTube show out for a year in advance, but the functionality to do that in the UI here has been removed. It's a little bit weird. Frank was telling me that you can only do it through a custom RTMP stream, but even setting that up, there's no way to go back in and alter the date. So I think that it's safe to say that function is just not there anymore because it was problematic. It might come back in the future, but for now, if you want to schedule an event farther than a week out in the future, I'm going to say just do it on the computer. And let's remember anyway that when you create an event on the YoloBox, so say I set up a live stream, I can set the title, I can set the description, but I have to type the whole thing in on here, and I can set the timing for it. But I can't set the thumbnail. And most descriptions you probably want longer than something you're going to type on here. So generally, I think you should consider creating the event on here as just an easy way to, well, as a way to create the event that you're going to stream from. I mean, you do have to do it from here, but you create it, but expect that you're going to go to your computer to mess with it, add your thumbnail, put a longer description, and so on. And at that point, you could reschedule it to a date farther out in the future as well. So that's, we're gonna leave it at that. Okay. Anything else new? Oh yes, transparency adjustment. So we've already seen this, the transparency of the background graphic when I did that multi-view thing with the transparency in there. So that was added along with it. This is nice. SD card video playback has timing. So you might have already actually seen this. I'm just going to switch straight back to the overview. And you can see, well, let's go to this view. It's a little bit easier to see. But where it says SD card video down on the bottom, they're kind of in the middle bottom, you see it's got timing on it. So you can see there how long it's been playing for and how much time it has. So that just little time readout is new and certainly very, very welcome. You can now save all graphic overlays while creating a new live stream. So that's what I was referring to earlier when I said that not only can you replicate a pre-existing live stream, but all the graphics that you create are saved as you go to a new one, which is, you know, let's be honest, it should have been that way from the beginning, but it works that way now, which is awesome. So you don't have to reset up everything every time. So very, very happy to see that in there. UI redesign for the account screen. So there's just some changes in the account screen, the way that looks. We can go ahead and pull that up in here. Let's just go into the account screen. So we back out of this view. I do seem to have troubles tapping these things sometimes. Let's get out of, I've got a double view there. There we go. And here's the account screen. And just, it's talking about the info in here. It's interesting, it tells me to upgrade, but there is no upgrade available. It's gonna say you're already on the latest version, but anyway, that's where you would upgrade if you need to manually do it for some reason. This incidentally is where you connect to other platforms, connect to an RTMP stream, access your recordings, and so on. And the info that is new in here is under About, I think. Yep, under the About settings, you can find your MAC address, which used to not be available. That was added because I requested it. Because, oh, you can even see, yeah, you can kind of see that. I requested that because I want to know what the address is so that I can assign a IP address to this MAC address so this always gets the same IP address. What you still don't see in here actually is the IP address. It doesn't show you what IP address it is chosen. I have filed a request for that, so hopefully we'll see that in the future because I do want to know what IP address it is using. All right, I'm going to take a look at a couple other things in here. If there's anything else, oh, the other one was just a fix. Fixed green bar issue with the laptop as a video source, which occurred on a small portion of computer model. So that's just a bug fix in there that hopefully is going to help people. All right, let's take a quick look at the comments again and see if there's anything going on over here. Let's see here, bring the chat back up. And Emerald, it's not that cluttered. You haven't seen mine. Oh, desktop. Yeah, I know. Just bought the YoloLive Pro and I'm learning the stream setup. Awesome, amazing tech. It is. And Yaniel, if you haven't seen it, do watch my earlier video on a complete setup guide. It's like everything in the YoloBox is there. So that is definitely worth watching. 60 FPS, that is in the next update. So we're gonna get to that. Can we please add auto switch to image overlays? Oh, that's cool. Oh, I like that. Yeah, auto switch the, ooh, nice feature request. Frank, you heard it here first. MacMan TV 608 has asked for it with the overlay still on. I know, what are you gonna do? The Mini does 60 FPS, it's probably CPU. Oh no, the Pro does do 60 FPS. That was one of the most recent updates. So we're gonna get to that. Okay, let's move on. In fact, we are now on page 4 of my updates to 1.7. Auto switching 2.0, 60 FPS, more graphic overlays and more. So auto switching 2.0, so I kind of covered everything that was in auto switching now, which included the ability to set a primary, what was it called, the main view. That is new in the 1.7. The original auto switching didn't have that. So we've already seen everything in auto switching. We're not going to dive back into it, but that additional functionality was very recently added. And this update, by the way, is what, May 12th. So this is just a couple weeks ago. This is very, very soon. Very, very recent. So, all right, moving on. So auto switching 2.0, we already talked about 60 FPS streaming. See, it is there. The long-awaited 60 frame per second streaming is now here. So let's see where that is. Let me jump out of this and then I'll bring it back up onto the screen for you to see. And here we go. Where are we going? Overhead. Okay. To change that, we go into the cog here. We go to the streaming mode, I believe. Nope, not streaming mode. Video, nope. Darn it. Where was it? Encoding settings. There it is. Encoding settings. FPS, frames per second, 30, 48. Oh, we recommend only one HDMI video for a frame rate over 30 to prevent video quality from being affected. So important to know. Again, recommended. Okay. 48, 59.94, and flat 60. So they do both, which is nice, 59.94 and flat 60. Honestly, I'm not really sure what the point of anybody doing flat 60 or flat 30 is, because like everything is 29.97 except for your Mac computer, but we don't need to get into that. So I don't really, Blackmagic cameras have 30 and 60, don't know why. Everything else is 29.97 or 59.94. Anyway, it's there. You can go up to 60, including 59.94. Thank you, YoloBox. I'm sure that's very helpful for a lot of people. The reason that people might want to stream at 60, FYI, is primarily going to be sports, action. If you've got action, looking at it at 60 frames per second feels much more realistic than at 30, which is pretty cool. Gotta love that. Let's see here. Next up, they say more graphic overlays. So this is fun. There are a whole new type of graphic overlays in the title. So let's take a look at these. Let me back out. Well, I don't have to back out of here. We'll just go straight into this. And we go to here. We tap on plus. We go to titles or image? Titles. Yep, there we go. There's the new ones. So a couple new title things in here. This welcome to the show, your text here. So a couple different layouts in there. Let's go for this one. And you can see, as before, you can change fonts and sizes and all that good stuff. Change the transparency of that text. Change the corner radius. That's a new thing to be able to do kind of a rounded title on there, which is fun. I'm going to go ahead and switch it to this view for now. Change your pad. Like lots of little extra controls in here to adjust this. What's the dimming color? Let's set that to like a blue, and now the background is kind of blue. That's actually kind of cool. Dimming level. So really massive amount of control in here over these titles, which is pretty slick. Let's add another one. Let's do, I haven't even explored this one here. Oh, cool. So you can add your logo. Let's see if I do edit. Let's do the dancing banana, because that should be my logo. And change the size of your username, shadow, all kinds of good stuff in here. So tons of overall just great new tools we can add in there, including using an animated banana as part of your title, because everybody needs an animated banana in their scene. Cool. All right. New titles. Awesome. Next one, background music for the countdown timer overlays. So when you do your countdown timer, you can have music coming through, and it doesn't seem like you can change the music right now. I think we have to add that, but here's what we've got. So let's take a look at the overhead view again. And we are in here. Yes, in here, countdown timer. We can choose which one we want. I'll go for the starting soon. And you can see there's a little background music option. So I don't have this routed up so that you can hear it, but actually I suppose I should be able to do that. Let me see here. I believe it's coming through. Background music is on. It is not. So somewhere in my routing in here, I have it muted. Sorry. This YoloBox is going through like 7 other boxes before it gets to you, and somewhere along the way I have it muted because I don't generally want audio coming through here. But in this case, it would have been handy, but it's not there. That's okay. That's okay. You can believe me that you can actually hear it. So there's that. You can obviously change your text on here and so on. And there are some other new functions in here as well. The transparency of the background, which is nice. You can have a full blackout for your background, so you don't see at all what's happening in the background. Or I really actually dig this kind of a scene where you can have, you know, your thing going on in the background. You're setting up. People don't hear you. People can barely see you, but they know that you're there and you're going to be doing your show at some point in the near future. So that's all how that works. Excellent. I think that was it. Let's go back and double check. And more amazing features coming soon. Yep, so that's it. That is everything. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is everything that is new and been added since my last major video. Basically everything new in 2022 so far. It's only May. It's already May. It's only May, and there is more coming for sure because these guys, they don't stop. They just keep on cranking them out. So with that, well, let's wrap up the show. Let's go into the comments, see if there's anything else you guys want to talk about in here. So if you're here just for the YOLO stuff, that's the end of that. If you want to stick around in case any YOLO comments come up, stick around for that. Otherwise, we're just going to spend whatever time we've got left just chit-chatting and seeing what's going on in the chat room. And there we go. So let's see here. We've got comment from Emerald Audiovisual saying, I guess I should fire up my YoloBox and update it. There you go. Again, that 60 FPS update just came out. That is very new. So don't worry that you've missed that. Anything else? That's the last comment. Interesting. Well, now's your chance, folks. Get your comments in. Let's see what people want to say. Oh, Sigmund had a comment that says, you meant that you've learned a ton from me. Thank you very much. Been streaming live music here in India. Very cool. A property we're calling the circuit. Oh, right on. Very, very cool. Loving that. Eric says, good stuff. I concur. This is good stuff. It is, it is. So I'll give you guys a few minutes to get some questions in there if you want. And if not, that's perfectly fine too. We can always wrap up the show early. I don't mind because I'm starving. It's only 10:45 and I'm ready for lunch, which I have sitting in there waiting for me. It's going to be good. So audio levels, actually, let's just take a look. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go back to my little Julian thing and pull that up. There we go. And I'm going to pause. I'm going to turn off the NDI stream that's going to this and turn it back on just so that we get a clean cut. That'll actually help to reset the timing on there. So I'm going to let it off for a few seconds. So when we see a gap on the meter, we know that we're back. And that was, oh, I guess there's the gap already. Okay, so now we're seeing the real-time readout. And this, and I'll even redo a reset on here so we get, but this, look, minus 19.7. So I guess we could afford to be a little bit louder. Over the show, we've been averaging 19.7. 14 to 17 is kind of the advised range for YouTube. We max of minus 14. So I definitely could be a little bit higher in here. Interesting, interesting. So let's bring it up a little bit. Let's see what happens. So let's go over to this, and I guess I'll bring this level up. I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to bring this up a few. I'll bring it up +6, close enough. And let's see what happens in there. Find the right page. Where is that? Good grief. Somewhere here. There it is. So now I brought it up a little bit. I'm going to do a reset on here so it starts recalculating the average in there. And we'll see if these levels are any better. Let's just let that go for a little bit. I'm not peaking it out, so that's okay. And -8. So it seems like it could still even be a little bit louder. Although that doesn't seem to have made much of a difference at all. I'll bring that up +6 there. It makes me wonder if I should bring it up even more. Should I try bringing it up more? Let's just see. Good grief. Too much stuff going on here. Back to the XR. If I see, as it is though, no, see, that's starting to clip. I don't want to do that because I definitely don't want to see clipping happening in here. So I'm going to bring that actually down a little bit. Let's take that to +4 because I don't want to clip. You guys can tell me in the comments if I was clipping. It's still still hitting orange in there. Let's go to +3. So there we're still hitting orange, but it doesn't look, well, occasionally we're clipping in there. No, I think we're okay. No, maybe not. Let's go take it down to +2. Because I really don't want to be hitting a wall anywhere. Let's just see what happens there. I'm going to leave that there, and then I'll go over to the ATEM settings. And what can I bring up here? I can bring up the master out. I guess I'll bring that up a little bit. We're at, what are we at, +1? Let's bring that up a bit, bring that up to +4, and find the right page in here with the loudness meter, and we're going to do another reset on there. and we'll see where that goes and what happens there. So I'm just going to chatter away at that for a little bit. Minus 16, so we're definitely within that 14 to 17 range now, so that's probably better. We'll leave that up. I'm going to go back to the video feed and back to the comments because somebody had asked a good question. Thank you for the show. You're very welcome. How do you do live captions? MCO, that is YouTube. So YouTube will do live captions on live shows now, but you can't choose the low latency. And everybody wants to do the lowest latency. I can't do the low latency because I'm streaming in 4K, so I get live captions. So it's one of the advantages. That's why there's about a 30-second delay between live and real time, but there you go. Does it show RAM usage? Does what show RAM usage? The YoloBox? No. There's nowhere in there that shows RAM usage. I would love Stream Deck control of the YoloBox family. Agreed, Jade. That would be very, very cool indeed. And I know we've talked about it. I don't know that YoloBox has API. I don't know if their API is open to do that. I'm going to get rid of this cable because it's bugging me. I don't know that their API is open for that. If it is, then somebody should definitely work on that. That's typically a third-party thing, not usually provided by the company. Sometimes company will hire developers to do them, and I think that that is definitely worth YoloLive considering doing. YoloLive, if you guys are listening. If you do have an API for that, even if you don't, open it. Make one and let people build companion modules for it, because that would be cool. That would be cool. And that would make it much more realistic to combine functionality of a YoloBox with something else. That would be pretty slick. Also, NDI in and out would be fabulous. I will agree. That would be very, very cool indeed. Can you please update so when you switch video sources to a commercial, it automatically goes back to your main video input? Oh, at the end. That's good. So if you have a 30-second interstitial that you're going to play, when you hit play, it plays that, and then at the end rolls back to your main video feed or a chosen video feed. I like that a lot. Very good. Very good. Non-pro update possible? Dinner time anyway in the Black Forest. There have been updates for the main one. I actually haven't fired up my original one in a while, so I'm not sure what updates have been there. Sorry, I've been focusing on the Pro because it's got more power, more inputs, more features. So that's just what I've been focusing on lately. They need to give us an API. There you go. We need that API. We do. Must be a compressor in the chain. There is a compressor in the chain for sure. I guess the compressor was happening. Right. The compressor is happening at the ATEM level that we set up last time. So I guess raising those gains wouldn't really be helping much. That makes sense. Okay, I'm remembering things now. This stuff scares me. Let's see here. Hello from Barcelona. Excellent. So no one's saying that the audio is too loud or anything, so I guess that's good. I'm going to go back to my meters here, and we're definitely getting a nice, good reading in there. We could even afford to go a little bit louder. Let's do it. Let's just do it. Let's go ahead and switch over to the correct page. Here we go. So what have I brought this up to +4? I'm going to take it all the way to +6. Man, that just seems dangerous, but +6 it is. Let's go back to the Julian. There we are. And we're going to do another reset on there, and we'll just let that average that out for a little while and see where it's getting. So, okay, that is getting a little bit hot. So we're hit -13. We want to be below that. So that's too hot. All right, that's good to know. So let's just take that down. +6 is too much. I'm going to go to +5. I'm going to go back to +4. I would rather be a little bit under than a little bit over. Oops, +4. That's where I'm going to go right now. And let's just take a look here. I'm going to go ahead and bring these levels back down to 0. And the compressor is happening here in this chain, but Jake set this up for me last time because this stuff scares me. I just don't necessarily understand it all, and I don't want to mess with it in real time. So I'm not going to change anything there. But yeah, there's that. And we got nice levels coming out at the end in here. So yeah, I think the place to raise it up is at the ATEM. So we're just going to leave that as it is. And so now that I've brought this back down, let's take a look at Julian and reset this one more time, and we'll see where that ends up averaging out. So good, we're still at between 14 and 16. We did drop back down a little bit there. So maybe now I can go back into this and push that up. I guess I could raise this. Let's kind of split the difference here. Let's take this up +3 and this up to +3 as well. So they're both +3. The XLR input and the master output are +3. And then we'll do another reset here and see where that averages up. And again, we're looking for that -14 target. -14 to -17 is the range we really want to be in. And so we're going to let that go for a little while and see what happens. All right, back to the comments. Anything else here? Jose Luis, hola Madrid. And that's it. No other questions? No other questions coming up. Well, you guys are making this show too easy for me today. What are we going to do next week? I don't know. We'll get there. We'll figure it out. there's a lot of stuff coming up. I'm working on, finally, that OpenGate video that I was promising off the GH6. That OpenGate video, there's part of it's already shot. I just scripted the whole thing now. Actually, I should share the script with you guys. Here's a fun thing. For you YouTubers out there, how many of you write a script versus an outline? And I'll tell you right now that I write a script, but I don't use the script. I use it as an outline, if that makes sense. But I do write out everything that, in a perfect world, this is what I would say, and then I will refine that. And it kind of gives me my talking points, but it gives me, I can read that section before I do the show, before I record it, and I know what I'm supposed to say, and I don't try to mimic it exactly. If I need to absolutely say a script word for word, then I have to use teleprompters, and I really don't like using that, but I have to sometimes, blah, blah, blah. But I do write the script. So I wanted to write a script in the kind of traditional screenplay format. Why not, right? So I found a really awesome tool that's free. You can pay for it and get some added functionality, but this really awesome tool that does full-on Hollywood-style screenplay writing, and I'm going to show it to you as soon as I remember the name of it. Here we go. It is Writer Duet. So let me log into it, and I'll show you my next script for the next video. It's such a cool program. This is really, really neat. Whoa, here we go. There it is. Let's, can I make this a little bigger? Yeah, there we go. So it's got full on, here's the scene numbers and everything, the dialogue, the description. I have no idea why things are highlighted in red there. But yeah, every little scene change, camera change, it's in here, what I say, it's all listed out. I think this is really, really, why is stuff highlighted? I have absolutely no idea what's going on with that. That's so weird. I wonder, I gave this to somebody at Panasonic. I wonder if they've made some notes. Huh, interesting. I'll have to check that out. That is, or is it spell check? I have no idea what's happening. I don't know why things are highlighted in red, but other than that, it is like full-on script format, which I think is really, really neat. Let me turn off, options. Let me turn off the outline mode. There we go. So the outline notes are hidden. And I know there's way too much stuff in red for that to be somebody else's notes. I have no idea why that is, but I'll figure it out. Anyway, so that's what that, I just thought it was really cool. I thought I'd share that with you. So again, the website is writerduet.com. I love it. And tell me what you guys do, for those of you who do this sort of thing. I think it's neat. Back to the comments here. Which video switching features are available on YoloBox Pro for HDMI inputs from an ATEM Mini Pro? Which switching feature? So if you plug an ATEM into an HDMI input on here, the YoloBox doesn't know what's on the other end. It has no idea that it's an ATEM versus anything else. So it's just a video feed. So anything that you can do with a camera, you could do with an input from the ATEM. So this is a very good way to combine them, right? So this has, 3 HDMI inputs. But I could take an ATEM, even an Extreme. Like, let's just say I'm only going to use one input here. I'm going to take an ATEM Mini Extreme, or I've got Super Source, and I've got, Green Screen Keying. Okay, this has keying as well. But I've got a lot of other functionality in there, including more inputs. I could feed all of those into here and then just use the YoloBox to do titles, to do the scoreboard functionality, to do the comments overlay, things like that. That's pretty cool. That's a really nice combination. But you would be managing 2 devices, and this is where having Companion would be awesome, because then I could do all my controls, controlling both the ATEM and the YoloBox from a single interface, which would be slick. And if you don't know about Companion, companion.io, if you use this stuff, you need it. It's awesome. Can you bring a guest into your live stream on the YoloBox Pro? So yes, again, we've never tested it. I know Aaron already had to bail out of here, but Aaron and I need to do this. He's got one. We've got to try this out one of these days. Maybe we'll do that next week. I don't know. We'll see what his availability is. That would be kind of fun. Does YoloBox have Bluetooth inside? I don't think so. I don't recall seeing that anywhere. I don't believe so. Let's take a look in the settings in here. Let's see if I go into here. Network, Wi-Fi, and Ethernet. I don't see anything about Bluetooth. I don't think it does. You can hook up a USB keyboard if you would just want to have a full-size keyboard to type things in. It would be convenient to be able to do a Bluetooth keyboard, for sure. But yeah, I don't think there's Bluetooth functionality. But I like the idea. That obviously would have to be a hardware upgrade. Can I do a 30-second recap of what I covered so far? No. I covered everything that was new in the 1.31, 1.5, 1.6, and 1.7 updates. There's a lot of new functionality in there. They're outlined in the description down below. You can scroll through and see what functions were in there, but we've just covered all of that. Okay, that's that. All right, audio, nobody's complaining about the audio, so I'm guessing that that is good. I'm gonna switch back over to Julian and see what it's showing. So we're getting a minus 15.6, so that's good. The numbers are good. Short term is minus 15, so my peaks are right around minus 14, so that's great. I think this is good. I think we have a good level here. Now I just have to make sure that I save all these settings before I hit any shortcut buttons. In fact, I better go do that because my show ending button will change these settings. So let's see here. I need to make sure I don't mess this up. So let me grab a screenshot of that. And I need, where's the Xair? So I'm pretty sure that was already set to 0, but we'll just make sure we did that and I didn't change anything else. So, all right, can make sure we don't mess that up. Okay. Anything else? If not, we're gonna wrap it. Looking good out there. Seeing nothing else come in. Give you guys another few seconds to do that. Any weekend plans? Any weekend plans today, guys? It is Friday after all. I suppose in some parts of the world it's already Saturday, in which case you're into your weekend and probably fast asleep. Is it Friday? No, it's not Friday anywhere still. We're late enough into the day. I think we're gonna wrap it. Got nothing else coming in? Oh, I'm watching where it's live, so now I see, right now in the live feed, what you guys are seeing, I'm actually asking for it. So I'll just give you, I gotta wait for that to go by to make sure that we're good. That's a good way for me to, actually this is a good thing. I should do this all the time. Have that live feed there so I know what you guys are actually seeing, when it's hit you. I think that's probably a good idea. Nothing else coming up. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap this thing up. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in today. As always, love to have you here. Love seeing your shiny faces. What is it? Hello, you beautiful. I'm not going to say that. Yeah, great to see you guys. All right. Thanks again, everybody. We'll see you next week. We'll see if I can get another video out before then. That GH6 thing that's a big one, so it's going to take a little while, but I'm working on it now. All right. I'm out. See you guys later. Love ya. Bye-bye.